didn't race last weekend because I would have been so disappointed to have missed watching Lionel Sam battle it out in the end. And I still get chills every time I watch them both crumble to the ground at the finish line. If you haven't watched either of their race recap videos, I highly recommend watching both of them. It's really fascinating knowing what's going on through the minds of people who can take themselves into those deep states of suffering. On another note, I had big plans to live stream as much of the race as possible, and I need to apologize for being a bit overly ambitious with my announced plans. It seems I spent too much time at T1 and the pros are flying through that bike course too fast for me to catch up to them at any point on the course. If you raced or know anyone who raced their last weekend, you may actually be in my live stream video at some point. So I settled on the fact that I was only going to be able to live stream the finish line, but cellular service was overwhelmed there, and it kept disconnecting the stream, and I finally just gave up before the frustration took over. So let's dive into the race weekend and how Ironman is making their comeback. I did a review on how well Ironman prepared for the Arizona 70.3 back in October, and I felt they were a little bit more relaxed this time around. They didn't space everyone out at the swim start like they did in Arizona, but they did have all the social distancing guidelines set up around the Ironman village and at the swim start in T1. So how did the race go? This is probably one of the most challenging courses that Ironman has, and it didn't disappoint last weekend. It's also one of the most beautiful places to race, and the sunrise in the morning kicked off the day beautifully. I would say you couldn't have asked for better weather for a race in the desert. And I was over the hill ecstatic to be right at the finish line when the pros came rushing in. I don't think I even need to go into a race recap because you've all probably listened to most of the pros' video recaps or read their Instagram recaps. And I even got some slight chills seeing Paula Findlay come racing into T1 with Daniela Ryf. I spent the past year watching Eric Lagerstrom's vlog with him and Paula, so it was awesome seeing them so close in real life. And I know Daniela is some superhuman female triathlete, but to see her come across that finish line like it was just another easy day of training, after she not only smoked all the women on that course, but also half of the pro men's field too. I mean, how can you not be inspired by someone like that? Anyway, after most of the pros crossed the finish line, I walked back up to Diagonal Street to go cheer on the age group as they came up on their last half mile of the race. And one tip for those of you coming to race in September. I made these people on the corner of 100 and Diagonal promise that they will have squirt guns out there for those of us racing in September so they can cool us off for that last half mile sprint downhill to the finish line. And they were also playing some decent tunes that some racers took time to dance to in order to lighten the mood of all the suffering that they were going through. Remember, even on tough days like this, we pay to do these races because we love doing them, right? It also helps to have support from such amazing spectators. What was super cool was more than a dozen people recognized me from that course breakdown video I did. But thank you so much to everyone who stopped to say hi and talk to me, especially those of you who did it in the middle of your race. Before the race, I asked for people to drop their bib number in the comments of one of my Instagram posts, and I did my best to catch them all on camera.
I can't believe you let me catch you walking. You're almost there. You got it. Just last 5 minutes.
That was a fun challenge, only possible because I'm still a small channel and didn't get too many comments on my post. I will probably keep doing that though for the future races I go to just watch. It was really fun tracking so many people, especially ones I didn't know. And if you happen to see yourself in any of the clips from this video and would like the original, please shoot me a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and I will send it to you. Now, for those of you coming back in September, if you're not familiar with this course, please watch my course breakdown video. Ironman did make some changes to the bike course for this race, but I don't think the changes influence the difficulty level of the race. You're still going to have to ride up Snow Canyon. I feel as if that video gives a really good general idea of what you can expect come race day. But like I said in the video, if Ironman makes any big changes, I will definitely go out and do an updated version of the video. And I also didn't beat around the bush on the run course. The run course is challenging. The first 3 miles are up. Oh, and traffic going into the race start is insane. Here is a really cool tip if you have anyone coming to watch you. This last time, Sand Hollow Road from SR7 was closed during the race, so you couldn't get out that way. Unless you do what I did. I was thinking to camp out in Sand Hollow, but decided to park my van in Walmart's parking lot because they allow overnight RV parking for free. It's less than 5 miles to the race start. So I rode my gravel bike into the race, flying past all of that traffic. There was a nice gravel path that ran parallel to pretty much the entire road, so I just stayed on that for the most part, so not to get in the way of any of the racers. And another tip to remember is a swim. Now, if you're coming in September, I'm assuming you're a decent swimmer since you qualified. But the swim looked a little rough out there. And not because of the water, it just looked intense because of the people swimming on top of each other. And I heard from quite a few competitors that people out there were just being mean. And sadly, I should mention someone lost their life out there last weekend. Swimming is not my strongest discipline, and I have been one of those people in the past who have had to backstroke my way down to a lower heart rate and past the anxiety so I didn't drown. I know it's not a good feeling. Don't come to a race like this without putting yourself through some intense open water swim training. It's not the same as swimming in a pool. And even if you are comfortable in the open water, it doesn't mean you will be comfortable in it when you have thousands of people swimming on top of you. There were plenty of support kayaks and boats out there to get the person out of the water quickly, but sometimes it's just not quick enough. Let's move on to the bike. T2 is massive, just like T1. You will really want to lock your vision in on some landmarks or something that will help guide you to your spot in transition, because everyone's stuff will be in identical plastic bags, making it easy to miss if you aren't exactly sure where to go. And be careful coming into T2 on your bike. One of the last couple turns off Main Street at the roundabout is very sharp, and if you take it too fast, it could be the end of your race or the end for another racer if you just go too wide. The out and back for the run is right alongside each other, so make sure you pay close attention to the arrows and stay within the right cones so you know exactly where you should be going at all times. And if you know anyone spectating on Diagonal and or Main Street, please encourage them to pay extra close attention when crossing the street. Bikes are coming from one direction and runners are coming from both directions. You have to keep looking 3 ways just to get across one street. I saw a lot of close calls and frustrated athletes during the race, so let's just try to avoid that next time. Overall, I would say that my decision to not race last weekend was a good one. I got a really good feel for what to expect in September, and now the training begins. If you feel like I missed anything or have any questions that I may be able to answer, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer everything. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.